Interviewing Broadway stars of all kind, asking the questions that you have pined. Grab a slice and you can unwind, 'cause now it's time for a pizza your mind.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of A Pizza Your Mind. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the greats here. It is Alex Brightman.
Hey everybody.
From Broadway's BeetleJuice as the title character, BeetleJuice. Hello, Alex.
Nice to see you.
Charmed.
Thanks everybody for coming out.
Yeah, guys. Now before you say anything, I want to dig into the pizza. We'll do the first bite.
Oh man.
Yeah. I did. I'm a shroom guy.
I like it. I almost said, by the way, when you asked, I almost said pepperoni and mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm a purist. I
I get that. So please grab your slice.
Thank you so much.
Seriously, no more talking until you have a slice.
Okay.
Sorry.
Sure.
It's a rule.
Uh-huh.
So, we're going to start off at the very beginning. Okay. A very good place to start. You're from California.
I'm from San Jose, California, more specifically, Saratoga, California.
Okay.
Yes.
And you did, as a kid, did you always want to be a performer? Is that like the goal, or were you like, as a kid, like astronaut or?
I think first it was, I wanted to be like a dinosaur, but I didn't know that you could, because when you're little, you're like, I just want to be that.
A robot.
I want to be yeah. And then I think in this order, I think I wanted to be a baseball player first. But then I very quickly, because I was like 8 years old, saw a Broadway show in New York. And
what was it?
Cats at the Winter Garden. And didn't know what theater was. I think it's an interesting thing I don't think a lot of people talk about, which is when you're young, you don't know things until you see them. Mm-hmm. So there's the first time you see pizza. Mm-hmm. There's the first time that you know what an apple is. Until that moment, though, you haven't seen it before. So you're, look, what is this? Now I'm 32, and it's like, that's an apple, that's a Broadway show. But it's kind of fascinating that you have a first thing.
For everything.
For everything, and it comes quick. And so that was my first experience with theater in general. And I loved it. Yeah. I loved the idea. Not sure I loved Cats, but I loved the thing. I loved everything about it, and I felt something, and I think I didn't know what that feeling was until I was much older, and that feeling was that it struck me.
Do you remember it? Like, can you see yourself
vividly?
One of those? Really?
Vividly. I can know exactly where I was sitting. My whole family, my mom, my dad, my brother cowering next to me because the cats come up kind of near you, and they scared the hell out of my brother.
Absolutely.
But I remember vividly. I remember the intermission. I remember seeing old Deuteronomy. Like they say on stage at intermission, and people could go up and like say hi to him.
Really?
Yeah, as far as I remember, maybe now I'm making shit up, but I think that's a thing. And I remember the whole day felt magical. And I say that with zero hyperbole or zero winking at it. I really felt something changing chemistry-wise inside me. I just wanted to do theater. So I was 1 year too young to do the community theater that was in my area. Mm-hmm. So I waited this painstaking year of constant, and we didn't, at that time I'm 7 years old or 7.5, and we didn't have YouTube. There was no I could just go and watch musicals. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know at the time that was going to be a possibility later, so I wasn't struggling, but for that whole year I was thinking about shows and what I would do and, listening to CDs. So then I auditioned for a community theater in San Jose where they cast everybody who auditions. Cool. And was cast as Tiny Tim in A Christmas Carol, the musical.
Oh, I love that. Did you have a favorite teacher growing up?
In high school, I had a teacher named Mr. Canavesi, and he coached an improv team at the high school I went to, which was an all-boys Jesuit sports high school.
Oh, sweet.
So he coached an improv team called the Sanguine Humors. Very, very lofty name for a group of degenerates. Mm-hmm. And I auditioned as one would audition for anything improv. You just go in and you play, and they just sort of decide whether you're worthy.
And you got it?
Freshman year, and learned all about the intricacies and little bits and pieces of the yes and atmosphere. And that, I think, again, like just another gear in my life turned on, which is to this day been part of entirely my career.
Absolutely.
So that's Mr. Canavesi was a big part. He saw BeetleJuice. He comes to see all my shows.
That's so
He's the
awesome.
best. He's the greatest.
And he's in San Jose, so he makes the trip all the way across the country.
What up, C?
That's awesome. That's super cool. So now you are in BeetleJuice right now. You Tony nominee.
Two-time,
because for also School of Rock the musical.
That's right. Mind-blowing.
Yeah, I mean, not really. You're talented.
Still, though.
But, so you've done that. You've originated now 2 leading roles on Broadway, Tony nominee.
In the same theater.
In the same theater. So in the theater world, have you done, is there anything else you want to do in theater that you haven't done?
Retire. No, I want to keep doing that.
You are known to be good at the stage door. You're very.
Oh yeah.
Why is that? Is that something coming back from when you did you go to the stage door of Cats?
I would go to the stage door today if I was unemployed. If I saw something that I wanted to tell someone about, I would do that. If I wasn't allowed backstage, I would wait.
I'm the same way. I love that.
About a decade ago, I made it sort of like a purpose of mine to say thanks in the way that a bow does a little bit of. I think curtain call, I could do a whole episode on what I think about the curtain call in general, but I think the curtain call is meant for the actors to thank the audience for being there. That's what the bow is. It's not to accept praise. The stage door is my extra way of saying thank you in person to the people that want to stick around to say whatever. Because they're spending essentially a car payment or a mortgage payment on something that I had done for free, would still do for free, and have paid to do. So the fact that I'm not only not have to pay for it, but getting paid to do it is ludicrous to me still. But I like to inspire people, and I think there's a way to do that at the stage door that's not just thanks for being here, thanks for being here, thanks for being here. It's how are you? What do you do? And even if they're like, I'm a banker, it's like we get to chat about what that's all about, and perhaps they'll go, off out of the stage door feeling more passionate about being a banker.
Definitely.
I'd like the connection. It doesn't tire me out. It makes me more excited. I'm there for an hour. I was there for a full hour last night.
That's fantastic.
It's great. And again, it's like no one just goes home after a show and can go right to bed. So for me, it's also dual. It's like I get to wind down by chatting with these people. That's my after party.
And you have one every night. That's so.
Yeah, it's excellent. Sometimes twice a day.
Do you have any? On stage, you've done a lot of your talents that you get to show on stage.
Yeah.
Are there any secret talents that you have that you haven't been able to show on stage that you can share?
On Broadway, yes. In community theater, I got to do what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But on Broadway, we almost worked it into BeetleJuice and didn't get to, which is that I can walk on a tightrope and I can walk on a globe, like circus stuff. Because I juggled in Big Fish, which I can do pretty masterfully.
Balls or everything?
Clubs, balls, knives, anything.
That's awesome.
Any 3 things that are of a certain type of weight.
We have 3 slices.
I'm not doing that. I don't want to mess up this place. I'm not doing that. But I would love, we were trying so desperately to find a place for me to be able to walk on a globe. It so works if the globe is shaped like a head or
absolutely. And you've also said that it is like BeetleJuice. If you haven't seen it yet, please go see it.
Yes.
It's a whole thing.
It's a fun house. It's a circus. It's this vaudeville type downtown theater show with an enormous budget.
It's awesome. Three, 2, 1.
I would want to fly. Character, period, actor. Chicken squeezes, enchiladas. Oh God, the real world? That's not a good answer. Guilty pleasure is slot machines. Name a body part you could go without. an appendix. That's just a fun one because that's true. Favorite smell? Gasoline when you're filling up a tank at a gas station. Real song that is a theme song for your life. Nothing But a Good Time by Poison. 3 things in my fridge. Seltzer. A bottle of champagne. Edible weed treats. Favorite YouTube series. Pizza Your Mind. For sure.
So you, before a show,
Yeah.
what do you do before a show? What's your prep?
Well, makeup on. So, an hour before the show, we start makeup and hair, which all told takes about 30 minutes. And during that time, I begun to introduce my hair person and my makeup person to all the stand-up that I listen to, and which I do no matter what. Mm-hmm. Put on either a Pandora station of any certain comedian.
What are your go-tos right now?
Right now, Sebastian Maniscalco.
Nice.
He has
an autobiography, Stay Hungry, I believe.
He has an autobiography?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Love him right now. Every once in a while, I'll like really go back to Brian Regan, just because he's so silly and so uber observational.
Yeah.
But then, my staples are like Bill Burr and Patton Oswalt.
Yes.
And maybe like a little John Mulaney, Pete Holmes situation.
Absolutely.
But I'll play stuff on YouTube for them, and they'll get a chance to like fall in love. It's fun to watch other people fall in love with bits and that you've already know, and watch like it's like hearing them for the first time because you're watching somebody experience it.
Yeah, you're like introducing your kid to your favorite food or whatever.
That's right.
Like that's
right.
That's a cool feeling. Have you done stand-up?
Yes, I have done stand-up. It's gone. I think my batting average is probably 200, 300.
300 is good.
300 is not bad.
That's
it's not bad.
Batting average.
Well, it depends on how many times I've gone up, really.
Fair enough.
The unfortunate part was that the first time I went up was in Boston, and it went really well. So that's the curse. It went like incredibly well. There was a really good crowd. Most of the jokes that I wrote worked, and I was just simply reading the things I wrote out of a notebook, like I wasn't even performing, because I was so nervous. Mm-hmm. And then the second time I went up was in New York, and it went fine. And then the third time I went up to New York, I bombed to the point where I was like, I don't even know why people do this.
Oh, man.
That gives you such respect for the people that just effortlessly do it. And I say effortlessly, I'm using that the wrong way because I know how much effort goes into it, who make it look effortless.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it is painful. Jerry Seinfeld said, which I loved, someone's like, what's your favorite joke you've ever told? And his answer to that is like, that's like asking me what's my favorite breath I've ever taken, which is fantastic. It's like whatever breath gets me to the next one, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it feels, because you feel like you kill in a joke, and then you get to the next one, it doesn't kill, and you're like, it's terrifying. I don't know if I would ever do it more consistently than I'm doing it now. It's more just
How
fun.
often do you do it now?
On average, I would say once a month, and I'm including that average going like some months I don't go up.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I don't have a ton of time right now.
Yeah.
But it is fun. I have a notebook that I write the jokes in, and they're all there. And sometimes I'll just use it for like if I'm writing, like if I'm writing a sitcom or something, I'll use the jokes in there rather than trying to let it flounder on an audience of 12.
So stand up. We talked about sketch comedy. Mm-hmm. You love sketch comedy, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I do. I like good sketch comedy.
Oh, fair enough.
Let's be clear.
You were in Documentary Now.
I was. The now Emmy-nominated Documentary Now.
Absolutely.
Yep.
How was that?
That was truly like comedy fantasy camp. That was like it was like winning a contest to do the silliest thing on earth with the people that you've admired for years anyway. It was getting to do just like playing around, living this for 3 days. We lived in the 70s.
Was it 3 days?
3 days of shooting.
That's awesome.
1 day of rehearsal. It was like, it was like doing theater. That's why I like it, because sketch is the closest I think it comes to doing like real theater stuff.
But that gets to be shown many other times, or like, because that's the thing. It's the immediate reaction, I think, is the biggest thing with theater.
Oh yeah.
You have that immediate taste of
temperature
like
taking.
They like us. Yes.
Right.
So with TV and film, I feel like it's so difficult for the theater.
Yeah, I agree. And my heart belongs to the theater for that reason, because I think the whole constant checking in with the audience is super fun. Mm-hmm. And getting to like turn the knobs live is really fun. I've always been a little wary about television and film because I know inevitably my performance isn't up to me. And that's a really tough thing to give up for somebody who has lived and thrived on in the moment stuff. And so I like it, I've done it, but it's not where my heart lies necessarily.
Do you see yourself at any time like switching completely from
No,
theater
no,
into
no. I'll never leave the stage. Ever.
I love that.
Ever.
Because really, I feel like there's so many people that want to. It's because it's unknown when
I
you
get it.
to this certain
That's
point.
fame, though. I don't necessarily give a shit about that. It's not. I'm as known as I want to be right this moment in the theater community. Like those 12 blocks, I'm very well known in those 12 blocks, and that's really nice as long as everyone's polite. That's cool because it means I don't get followed from my house with flashbulbs, and I just can't imagine if that's how much it feels to be that type of known, compounded to the point of like a Brad Pitt type thing seems unmanageable.
Yeah.
And I like to do my thing.
Other than being on A Piece of Your Mind, the pilot episode, other than having that advantage and great pleasure, what are some highlights
This is
that
it.
you've gotten? This is the one?
Yeah.
You made it?
This is it. It's the perks of it. I don't know if this is really what you mean, but it's like the backstage guests at the shows.
That is a huge perk.
So it's amazing. It's never not been amazing. Thankfully. I've never met somebody who has been less than what I had imagined them to be. They've always exceeded expectations. What's even cooler now with BeetleJuice, as opposed to School of Rock, is because it's the second time I've done this and I'm a little more known in New York, some of the people that come to see the show just want to come up to my dressing room and say hi to me. And that's been really cool. And the latest one was Adam Scott from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And everything, and I mean, literally every comedy that's out there.
Truly.
And I knew he was there, and I was very happy to do the show for him, and then to find out he wanted to come up and hang in my dressing room for a second, that just doesn't, that feels like that you just won a contest to do that. But that's happened, and
Now, with that, you said you knew he was there. So
yeah,
is that,
I like to know. Not
do?
everybody does.
so
Yeah.
do you get nervous?
No,
Ever?
no. I think Mel Brooks. If Mel Brooks came to see the show, I might be a little nervous.
Absolutely.
But I wouldn't to the point of being crippled by it. I don't consider myself necessarily on the same plane as them as far as career goes, but we're human beings.
Everyone's human.
And yeah, like when Jack Black came to see School of Rock, that was very cool for me, but it wasn't very nerve-wracking because it was a pleasure. I don't know. It didn't feel like I had a bar to reach, and it felt like our long-lost uncle came to see the show. My brother was like, how are you so cool around celebrities? I was like, well, I don't know. It doesn't feel that intangible that we're not all doing the same thing, just at different levels.
Have you always been like that?
Yeah.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's cool. This has been the first episode of
A Pizza Your Mind
with Alex Brightman.
Thank you. I didn't even realize there was a camera there until this moment.
Yeah.
Interviewing Broadway stars of all kind, asking the questions that you have pined. Grab a slice and you can unwind, 'cause now it's time for a pizza